So that's what violent crime in D.C. looks like. And Donald Trump sat in the White House watching that happen for hours and did nothing. Police officers were brutally beaten as America's tradition of a peaceful transfer of power was ended on that day, January 6th. Trump supporters chanted to hang Trump's own vice president, Mike Pence. Yet today, on a very peaceful day in Washington, it looked nothing like that. And amid a 30-year crime low in the nation's capital, Donald Trump decided to claim that now is the time, today is the day, that violence in D.C. needs to be addressed, saying he will be asserting federal control over the U.S. Capitol and taking control of Washington, D.C.'s police department. Protesters took to the streets of D.C. ahead of Trump's announcement, calling BS on his claims that this is anything other than an act of authoritarianism.
Trump does not care about D.C.'s safety. He cares about control. What we know from history is that authoritarians always want to control the Capitol and the people in the capital city. It's because it's the fastest way to silence dissent and to accelerate their agenda. And I want to be clear, this is not about crime. This is about what Trump is trying to do to D.C. in order to take over D.C. and silence us. This is the story of a ruler who is trying to oppress a people and who's causing real harm to real communities in the process.
We're back with Andrew Weissmann. Andrew, this is, I know for a lot of people, a really scary day. I checked with a few law enforcement sources who were wary about what would happen, but suggested this could be performative. That there are 30 days. What are your thoughts? What are your concerns? And what could this be leading toward?
I know there's a school of thought that this is a distraction. This is a way of changing the story and the headlines from Epstein. But even if you thought that, it still, I think, is incredibly scary. The idea of using federal law enforcement and the federal military is in ways that we have never seen in any administration, Republican or Democratic, should be, and I think correctly is called out in the clip that you played. You just think we've had it in Los Angeles. We have it at the southern border with the military being called in. Now you have Pam Bondi with the Secretary of Defense at a press conference talking about the sort of the imagined problem here when the excuse for doing this is so paper thin. And so I do think that the concern goes directly to the very first clip you played, which is just remember what Donald Trump was trying to do to stay in office. But this time, he has control of all of the levers of power. He has control of so much, including, as Liz Cheney and Secretary of Defense Esper warned, of the military. And so even if this is the timing of this is a distraction, it is incredibly worrying in terms of what it could portend for somebody who I think is desperate to cling to power in ways that don't have to guess at. We know from history that that's true.